Good evening, BookTube. This is Johnny. Get this situated. So, how you doing tonight? Hope you're doing well. It is a Sunday night here in West Michigan. It is February the 25th. It is 8:32 at night. Maybe I'll sit here and light the candle. I always like candles. I would light a stick of incense, which I light when I'm down in the lower level, but my wife is allergic to any kind of incense. She's allergic to cat hair, dust, mold. So, for the sake, when my wife leaves, I've mentioned that she's leaving the 28th of February to go out to Denver to visit our daughter, who is our youngest, and her 3 children. Little baby Jack turns a year old next month. When she's gone, I bring the incense up here and I burn it. I always burn incense when she's gone up here in the main level of the house. And I bring up my laptop and I put it here on the dining room table. And I get all my books out, and yeah, that's what I do. When my wife is gone visiting one of our children, well, now we have our oldest son lives in Grand Rapids. They just had a baby. Well, they had Josie, and they just had Coralie, which I've mentioned already. Anyway, today is Sunday night. I ended on my 2018 diary this afternoon. I ended on page 151. So tomorrow is 152 if I don't die in my sleep or the church is not raptured out of the earth. Yeah, the rapture. Maybe some of you don't know about what I'm talking about, the rapture. The rapture is mentioned, I think it's mentioned in 2 Thessalonians. I think that's how it goes. I can't remember. I haven't. It's been a while since I looked it up. It says, see, the rapture is mentioned in a couple of places in the 2 Thessalonians. Maybe it's mentioned. Here it is. It's in 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4. But I do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning those who have fallen asleep, lest you sorrow as others who have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so God will bring with him those who sleep in Jesus. For this we say to you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord will by no means precede those who are asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. Then we who are alive and remain shall be caught up, that's the rapture, together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air, and thus we shall always be with the Lord. Therefore comfort one another with these words. So that's the doctrine of the rapture. So this is a Sunday. It's a new week. What did I read today? Well, this morning I read, once again, William Perkins. I am now on verses 9 and 10 of Hebrews 11. I'm doing pretty good on this. The verses, chapter 11, verses 9 through 10 are, by faith he, Abraham, abode in the land of promise, as in a strange country, as one that dwelt in tents with Isaac and Jacob heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which has foundation, whose builder and maker is God. So that's what I read this morning. By faith he abode in the land of promise in a strange country. So I read that this morning for devotions. And what else I do? I was kind of out of it this morning. I don't know what it was. It was a pretty day today. It was windy. You probably saw my videos. I went out to Lake Michigan this afternoon, took some photos, and I took some videos of Lake Michigan. It was just, the waves were crashing, and there was still ice on the shoreline. And yeah, spring is coming. So when I've been reading The Future Won't Be Long by Jarett, Kobek. I've read 71 pages of this novel. I would describe this novel right now, off the top of my head, a hipster soap opera. It's supposed to be I was reading a review of it from The Guardian, a British newspaper, that it called it a coming-of-age story. Well, one thing I've noticed in reading it, I don't know what age the main characters are. There's Adeline, and there is Baby, who is a male character, and they don't really make clear to you what age they are. All I can figure is that maybe they're in their early 20s because they're going to college. But I would call this a hipster soap opera. I suppose it's too early for me to make a literary judgment about it, but I personally, it reminds me of other novels that I have read that bring in hipster culture, music, literature, drugs, sex, kind of subject matter that you find in hipster novels. But anyway, what I think that I've really enjoyed reading, once again, The Art of Flight by Sergio. I looked this up in Google Translate how to pronounce this name. Sergio Pitol. This is translated from the Spanish by George Gitson. I've been really enjoyed reading this. I was reading this evening, and I read today once again the Diaries of Emilio Renzi's Formative Years by Ricardo Piglia. This is also translated from the Spanish. If I had a choice of what to read, I would read this, then read this. This is really good, The Art of Flight. I don't know why. I read it last year and I put it down, but I'm really enjoying it. And then what else? I went to the thrift stores yesterday, just local, just around where we live, and I found a novel by Alexander Dumas, who wrote the Three Musketeers. He wrote the Three Musketeers, and he wrote other works. I can't remember right now. My mind just... The Count of Monte Cristo. Anyway, I found this Alexander Dumas, The Black Tulip. I collect this writer. I've shown you in the past. I have a stack of his novels. Ivan Diglick. This is The Last Bus to Wisdom. This is his novel by him. And then I found another novel. I had this already in my library by Jean Reens. She's a Welsh writer. No, she lived in the Caribbean. but she lived in England, France, Paris. The Wide Saragosto Sea. And this is a novel by a writer. His name is Alberto Urrea. This is his novel, Into the Beautiful North. I have 3 other novels by him. I collect him. He wrote The Hummingbird's Daughter, The Devil's Highway. And I have another novel his. This is Into the Beautiful North. It says here, 19-year-old Nael works at a taco shop in her Mexican village and dreams about her father, who left the family to work in the USA. Recently, it has dawned on her that he isn't the only man who has left town. In fact, there are almost no men in the village. They've all gone north. While watching The Magnificent Seven, Natalia decides to go north herself and recruits 7 men, her own Siete Magnificent, or her Magnificent Seven, to repopulate her hometown and protect it from the bandidos who plan on taking it over. So I got another novel of his. And then I found a commentary on the Epistle to the Ephesians and the Epistle to the Colossians by E.K. Simpson and F.F. Bruce. I think Bruce is the one who wrote the one on Colossians. So this is in the New International Commentary on the New Testament series. Commentary on Epistles to the Ephesians and the Colossians by E.K. Simpson and F.F. Bruce. And I found the book Let Justice Roll Down, The Old Testament Ethics in the Christian Life by Bruce C. Birch. I still buy. Now, I don't find that many good, quote, Christian books at thrift stores. But if I find something that's kind of not really liberal or very radical, I'll buy it. If it, like, this is only 50 cents. This was only, this is 50 cents. This was a quarter. And I add these to my library because someday when I am raptured or I go home to be with the Lord, my library will be given to a Christian seminary. And these are kind of books that they might want some student. I also found Evangelism in the Early Church by Michael Green. I have his book on the fall of Satan. And then I found a book that I've been looking for. It was at the Book Nook, the library used bookstore, a while back, and I didn't buy it and wish I did, but I found The Dark Side of Camelot by Seymour Kirsch. This is about John F. Kennedy, or he calls it here, it says here in the flap, Jack Kennedy had it all, and he used it all, his father's fortune and his own beauty, wit, and power, with heedless, reckless daring. There was no tomorrow, and there was no secret that money and charm could not hide. In this groundbreaking book, award-winning investigative journalist Seymour M. Hersh shows us John F. Kennedy we have never seen before, a man insulated from the normal consequences of behavior long before he entered the White House. His father, Joe, set the pattern with an arrogance and cunning that have never been fully appreciated. Kennedys could do exactly what they wanted and could evade any charge brought against them. Kennedys wrote their own moral code. And Kennedy trusted only Kennedys. Jack appointed his brother Bobby keeper of the secrets, the family debt to organized crime, the real state of Jack's health, the sources of his election victories, the plots to murder foreign leaders, and the president's intention in Vietnam. As Jack's closest confidant and chief enforcer, Bobby attacked any potential family enemy with savagery he was supposed to reserve for the criminals he was sworn to persecute, the very criminals that their father had enlisted. The brothers pride themselves on another trait inherited from their father, a ferocious appetite for women, and indulge it with daily abandon, deeply disturbing the Secret Service agents who witnessed it. These men speak for the first time about their amazement at what they saw and the powerlessness they felt to protect the leader of their country. So this is the dark side of Camelot, the dark side of John F. Kennedy and the Kennedy family. So those are the used books I found at thrift stores. Like I said, I've been reading The Art of Flight by Sergio Pitol. Really enjoying this. The Diaries of M.O. Renzi's Formative Years by Richard Piglia, translated out of Spanish. Like I said, the future won't be long. I don't know. I have my reservations about it. Like I said, it reminds me of a hipster. It reminds me of a hipster TV show. I don't really see how it's kind of flat. Doesn't have kind of, the characters are kind of flat. They don't seem to stand out. And I think it's sloppy sometimes the way it's written. It's like, I don't know. But like I said, I've only read 71 pages. Let's see if I stick with it. That's it. That's here in my booktube world. My book world. I don't know what else I was going to say. I do have a book coming in the mail this week on the Apostle Paul by N.T. Wright, which we have mentioned in past videos. And that's about all that I have coming in the mail. Tomorrow I volunteer at the Library Used Bookstore, the Book Nook again. It's a Monday from 10 to 1. I don't know if I'll find anything there to bring home as far as used books. My wife leaves Wednesday. I'll be by myself for a whole week. Lately, I've been thinking I'm going insane. Sometimes I think I'm losing my mind. My wife says I need to get out more and socialize because, I don't know, I'm getting a little unhinged. Maybe it's old age. Sometimes lately I've been thinking about seeing my doctor and seeing if I don't have the beginning stages of dementia. I don't know. It just seems, I just feel mentally kind of spaced. I've been saying that a lot in my videos lately. I don't feel like I'm focusing. And sometimes I do things I don't remember. I seem distracted. I don't know what it is. But here I am making a video. You know, you talk about this candle. I was thinking about when you read books, it's kind of like you're around a campfire and everybody's telling a story. Like you have these different writers and they're all sitting around this fire and you're sitting there with them in a circle and there's a fire in the middle and they're telling you their stories. And that's kind of like what I do all day long. I'm sitting around a campfire and I'm listening to these different writers. Sometimes they're writing fiction, sometimes they're writing nonfiction, maybe sometimes they're writing, like today I got a New York Times newspaper. My wife, after work, she went downtown and got a New York Times newspaper. I read a lot of that. I didn't read a lot of it, but I glanced to it this afternoon. And so I'm sitting around the campfire and I'm listening to all these stories. And then I go on the internet and read all the Yahoo News and CNN News and Huffington Report. And then I go to BookTube and I listen to people give book reviews and about all the books they're reading. And I'm just surrounded with all these stories and all these. And I think sometimes maybe that's what's spacing me out a little bit. Maybe I'm getting kind of overloaded. I don't know. Anyway, I want to make a video. It's been 24 hours. Tomorrow's a Monday. We have Monday reads tomorrow. Well, tomorrow my wife is off. My wife works tonight and then she's off for 2 weeks. Then she leaves early Wednesday morning around 4 o'clock for the airport in Grand Rapids. And so yeah, I'll probably make videos talking to you guys. So thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. I do like comments. I do like questions, and like I want to say something too. People who are new, I don't read everything that I show in my videos. I'm a book collector. I love books, and I'm always looking for good books from all kinds of genre, history, art, poetry, short stories, letters, memoirs. I like literary fiction. I like books on American history, European history, modernism, postmodernism. I don't read science fiction. I don't read YA. I don't read crime. I don't read thrillers. I don't read comic books. I don't read romances. Most of my reading in my life has been the Bible and Christian literature. And I've not read a ton of secular literature. But like I said, I'm going 66 years old, and over the years I've read a lot of secular literature. Over the years, off and on. I've read a lot of beat literature, a lot of John Updike and John Irving and Joyce Carol Oates and Philip Roth and D.H. Lawrence and Edmund Wilson and Proust and Richard Rusco, Richard Ford, people like that I've read. But I read a lot of the Bible, Reformed theology, covenant theology, Puritan theology, Scottish theology, patristics, medieval exegesis, things like that. I read a lot of commentaries on each book of the Bible. I read the Bible. I've been a Christian going on 49 years. Yeah. So yeah. But like I like to read all kinds of things, but predominantly I like to keep my mind on heavenly realities, spiritual things. So anyway, I'll sign off now, hoping you're having a good night. Until next time, bye.